Hey everyone, and welcome to REZOcast, episode 155. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove, Triton, and our special guest from Resolute itself, and Gamertag Radio, and my personal favorite, MCU Rewatch. It's Parris. Thank you so much for joining us, man. How you doing, dude?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm definitely excited to be on, and I love this clan, and I'm sure we'll get into that when we talk about Destiny 2. But so glad to be here.
Dude, so glad to have you, man. And so glad to have somebody, probably the most like diversified gamer as far as like games that you play, like it's just like you, because not only are you like super into Division 2, which is what I know you from almost, well, I know you from Destiny stuff, of course, but I know you got big into the Division as well. But then you have your own like podcast that goes over the whole sect of gaming as like in a very broad way. And so I'm excited to have you on just to have your take on where Destiny's at, but also just games in general. I know we like to goof off on this podcast as well. So thanks for
Not
joining
me.
us, man.
I'm very serious.
No, yeah. But we are REZOcast. We're a podcast based off of the clan Team Resolute. We talk about Destiny, but we also get into talking about a lot of other games. We goof off a lot, play a mini game called word insertion, which if you hear a word that doesn't seem like it fits, it's probably one of the words we've secretly given each other. We also just started, just before we get into things, started a Discord, which thank you so much to our community for jumping in there, talking about Destiny as Shadowkeep's coming out, having a lot of fun with all that. Just wanted to shout that out there, that the Discord is in all the podcast descriptions, and it's out there on Twitter for every episode that's tweeted out. So been having fun with you. I'm sure we'll get into some community questions later on. But first, Parris, how's your week in gaming been? Before I jump into about you and all that, just how's this week been, man?
It's been really good. It's funny, like you mentioned the Division 2 right off the top, because episode 2 for that came out. So
Nice.
Ubisoft, thank you to them. They sent me a preview of it early, so I got to jump in early. So I'd already been playing it. So by the time it came out this week, I was really able to deep dive into it. It's pretty good. I really enjoy what is there for the Pentagon content. I'll leave it positive because I do have some things about it that I did not like, but that's way too long-winded for here. The Destiny front, it's been really good. I was able to get Divinity the other day,
Nice.
so I have a few raid clears now. Really enjoyed Guardian of Salvation, and jumped in Iron Banner yesterday, and just ran through, got all the pinnacle bounties, did the quest and all that. So overall, just having a lot of fun. And then I have Redacted that I'm playing, and I'll be able to talk about Redacted soon.
Wow.
And then I also literally just got the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. So, I mean, I might take it out of here later or whatever, but I just got this like a couple hours ago. Nice. And I threw up a quick unboxing vid. And yeah, I'm going to put that through its paces too this week. So it's been pretty good.
Dude, I'm excited to hear what you think about that. And I'm excited like for all the PC gamers out there, because anyone who plays PC, it's almost like every time you ask them, what are you using for a controller? It's that thing. Well, the other version of it, like every time it's the Xbox controller. And so I'm pumped to hear what you think about it for sure.
Yeah, since I just took it out, it's because now it has that internal rechargeable battery. It's very light, and the grips go all the way around the front and the back now, so it's very easy to hold. And then I guess I don't know, people on stream see this, you can swap out all the joysticks. The paddles are in here. I can put the paddles on. Those are completely swappable out. It does USB-C now to charge. Nice. So it's like, thank God, right? Yeah. So yeah, I'll play this on Xbox One X. I'll do it on the PC as well, put it through its paces. Really looking forward to it. So thank you to Xbox for sending it to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm pretty sure everyone on PC is going to be eager to. I like, as a PS4 like primary, because I like dabble in like the virtual PC. I'm using NVIDIA GeForce stuff right now to do stuff. I'm really excited about Stadia potentials later on for Destiny. But for now, I'm just stuck with a PS4, and it's like, that Xbox controller seems so nice. And I know there's workarounds you can do and stuff, but you mentioned Iron Banner, and that has been all about what my week's been about, because I want that high level gear. I want those enhanced mods. Mainly, it's a great place to get enhanced mods, and I'm sure we'll get into a little bit of that later. But that's been my main thing, other than jumping into a little bit of PUBG's update, which I'm sure Hove is gonna get into. I know you just played it, right? Isn't that been a bit of your week?
Well, it's on the test server. Dewey and I jumped in a little bit because you remember last night we tried to play and we couldn't get the one map that's refreshed, Miramar.
Mm-hmm.
So today they took out 2 of the maps so that you do get that one. But after playing it a couple times, it's not really an update that's like an exciting let's jump in and play it early. It's more a quality life thing. Like the golden car is like cool, but once you see it, it's not like a replay.
It's kind of like whatever.
Yeah. So I'm probably not going to play the test server too much more. I'll just wait for it to come out. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of PUBG, Destiny. I got up to, I want to say I'm like at 5,200 glory. So you were supposed to carry me the rest of the way and you bailed on me. But
sorry, had to work, man. We'll get you. We're doing so good though. It's so much fun.
I got
season.
400 points by myself today, so we're good.
Where you at, Parris?
Can I join?
Yes, anytime. Just interrupt. I don't even care.
I want to go to the mountaintop.
Please. We will go further than the mountaintop. We will go all the way to Not Forgotten. It's a blast this season. I feel like it really is so much easier. Not just the solo playlist, but we were playing just duos in the main survival playlist, and it was kind of like,
I don't think
yeah,
we
there
lost
was a
game,
difficult
did
match.
we?
But no, we didn't lose a single game, and I was already at 5,500, and you were at like 4,000,
I was at like
4,100 when we started.
43 or so, right around there.
And it wasn't like previously when you played comp, it was like if you were at 5,500, you would face, you'd be against Pure Chill, you'd be against ZK Mushroom, like all the top dudes streaming comp helps every single game, and now you don't have to stream watch, making sure you're not matching these complete pros that are going to demolish you. You can actually help your friends play together with people that are at lower ranks. It's been pretty fun, I think.
Well, but wait a minute, you're on PS4, right?
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Hove's not.
I'm on both. Well, let me rephrase. I'm pretty much only on PC until Lego says, "Hey Hove, do you want to play games?" And then I just bitch the entire time about how terrible everything looks. And he goes, "I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing."
Well, I have to fully admit the cheapskate in me, because like I've been PS4 primary on Destiny since 2014, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the cheapskate in me, and I knew I wanted to do PC. I dabbled when it first came out, but the whole thing of, oh my god, I got to regrind everything. I didn't want to do it, so I never fully committed.
Me too.
Obviously, with cross save now, I just went full thing. But the interesting part is, and of course my dog barks right now.
What cross save? Oh my god.
No, yeah. But the cheapskate in me, my PS Plus is up this month. And my son plays a lot too, but we have Xbox, PlayStation, everything. And the cheapskate in me goes, do I really want to purchase another year of PlayStation Plus when I have Game Pass Ultimate until June of 2022? So we switched to Xbox. So I play with my son on Xbox now, and then I just primary on PC. Right. So yeah, I can't play on PlayStation anymore.
Dang, yeah, I know. And Triton's kind of in the same boat, because you were saying, maybe not with the past, but with Shadowkeep buying that expansion, because we were talking about grinding out some light level or something together, and you were like, well, I have it on PC right now, but I don't have Shadowkeep on PlayStation.
Right.
And I think I'm forever done on PlayStation. So my week was, now that I have the PC, I'm like, and I have 3 boys, and we had 3 PlayStations. I'm like, guys, this is just too many. I'm doing the PC. So I'm like, maybe we can consolidate one of the PlayStation 4. So I forgot, like Parris, my thing has been up though, and I've been like leeching off of my oldest son that has PlayStation Plus, and then he makes it the primary, so all the benefits filter down to us, right? Well, I went to go move stuff from one to another, and I realized without the plus, nothing saves to the cloud for you. Like, you don't get that plus bonus of the backup. So I'm like, so I go to load it, and I'm like, where is everything? So games like Destiny are fine, but I had a ton of Spider-Man and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and all those games are gone. So I was just like, you know what? That's a sign. I'm done. Like, I gotta hang it up. No more PlayStation 4. That's gotta be it. So
well, Lego, I've been trying to hang back with you, but it sounds like I'm the only one. You're gonna have to join us.
Yeah, Lego, for real.
I know. I'll eventually get there. Like, it's
good.
It is. So and I was just like you, Parris. Like when PC came out, I had it for PC, and I like wanted to switch over, but I just never found the time. Like, I didn't want to just redo everything, so I barely played it. But now with cross save, I'm playing so much PC, and when you do go back, I was always one of those people like, yeah, it's better, but like, I'm not that worried about it. Now that I play PC, like, going back to PS4, it hurts.
What's interesting? What's interesting about that is
you do get used to it. Like that's why I stopped complaining. But when you first switch back, it feels like the game's like hitching and lagging constantly. Like the movements feel like not smooth. No, I mean like even like aiming, I feel like everything's real jerky. I can't do it.
As a videographer, like I get the frames per second difference and how that affects the way you look at something. What's funny to me is that we've had PC for a long time, but so many people are switching now because it's cross-saved, because you're not regrinding stuff. And it makes me wonder, because didn't PC release slightly after the console version?
A month and a
Would
half.
things have been different if they both released at the same time? Would the communities have been so different this whole time?
I can tell you for a fact, if it would have come out day and date of Destiny 2, I would have done PC day one. I would have left PlayStation 4. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Well, before we switch, one more question about weeks and stuff, before we switch to getting to know Parris a little bit. Triton, I was curious if you have, and the reason I asked this is because I know, Parris, you showed on Twitter playing with your kid on Destiny now. I think it was Destiny now that there are, I don't know if it was because of cross save or it was just something else that was a reason that you were able to like play with your family again. I was wondering if, or maybe it's because of New Light, First Light, that Destiny is free now to play. I noticed a lot of people are playing more with different family members because it's so easy for them to jump in with new accounts and they don't have to rebuy everything on different consoles and stuff like that. Was that true for either of y'all? Triton or Parris, I guess, like being able to play with family easier because of that?
Well, for me, I guess I'll just jump in real quick and clarify. For me, my son is actually a hardcore Destiny player.
Oh, okay.
He is a freaking PvP savant. When I need to get carried on something, I go play with him. He raids everything, but I try to do it with people I know. I don't let him just play on his own. Our thing was we switched from PlayStation to Xbox because of my cheapness. But yeah, that's all that was. Nothing's actually changed for us at all.
Okay.
We still play together.
Nice.
Lego, for me, it was just like trying to incentivize my kids to do like, do I really want to do 3 strikes right now for powerful engram, or does each one of the boys want to do 1 strike each while I'm cooking dinner and then I come back with a powerful engram? So that really hasn't changed as much. Like for instance, like loaded racket, whatever gives you the edge wise, I cannot move that thing to save my life. With like solar fire, I'm just like, who wants to do 2 strikes using all these solar weapons? Like, I mean, and so I think, it's not changed as much for me because that's what I was doing, was mostly like,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So Triton, you're more in the boat of like, I don't want my kids to get new accounts. I need them to keep grinding my account for me.
Well, no, they have their own account, and we've done some stuff together for sure. But I mean, there's like, I think now that I'm like, oh yeah, guys, look, the PC's way different. You should try the same strike here. We'll see how long that goes. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Triton, I know we kind of skipped over anything with your week. If you wanna chime in anything real quick with Iron Banner this week, or anything else going on.
Well, without Wilson here, it'd be very hard to kind of like placate Ho for wanting to talk about like risk-adjusted models that I worked on this week professionally, because it was for Medicaid and Medicare services. So you know how much I love to talk about doing that for healthcare, but we won't do that.
Yes, save us.
Okay, see, no Wilson to help me. But I will say, though, Destiny, I've been playing a ton. I've really enjoyed it. I think, I'll share a funny story just with getting used to PC. So the other day, River and Loki, who we've had on before on the podcast, very cool. I noticed that River was in the story mission for the week, for Eris's story mission. I'm like, oh, cool, I haven't got to play with River yet. I'll do this. So I'm in the middle of like one of those make nightfalls, like the 920, the hero one. And I'm typing in chat, hey, River, do you want to let me join for the story? And I don't realize I'm in the fire team chat. So I put it in there like 2 times, like, oh, if you're at the end, don't worry. So I said like 3 or 4 messages. This dude writes me back because it's fire team chat, and he's like, bro, there's no River. Do not leave this nightfall strike. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to switch it to the clan. So yeah, I just, that was kind of my PC training wheels there, figuring out how to switch between the chats to talk to people in our clan. But I eventually did ask River, but she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm done. I was like, wow, I wouldn't have been talking to that guy for a while. That didn't want me to leave. It would have worked out. So, but otherwise, no, great week in Destiny. enjoying the Vex offensive a lot. I mean, missed last week, but that's pretty much what I've been doing most of the time, and actually getting all the Reckoning armor. I know that that's like a while ago, but I took that break. But I have all these motes, and so after I got all the engrams for the week last week, I just just jumped into doing a bunch of Reckoning and didn't get any of the armor I wanted. But you know.
Isn't that the way it goes, Reckoning? Well, before we get into the rest of Destiny, we've got Parris here. We want to get to know, for those who don't know, Parris, how would you describe yourself in the gaming community, in the Destiny community? Like, what would people find you enjoying game-wise?
Well, it's funny. I was at TwitchCon a few weeks ago, and the realization kicked in because I had a lot of people that came up to me that knew who I was, and I found that people know me for three things: Destiny, The Division, and Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
those are like the three things. Those are the three things that people seem to know me for. And you know, I came to the realization, it's like, I'm just gonna own it. That is absolutely who I am. Absolutely, because those are the games I love to play. I also like The Witcher 3 too. But I'm a co-host on Gamertag Radio. Gamertag Radio itself has been around since 2005. It is a video game podcast. It originally started as just Xbox centric, hence the name. But we talk about everything now, you know, all platforms, PC, everything. I officially joined in 2013 because I used to do a podcast on my own for a long time. And then my co-host left. He went to EA, and I retired. And I had been good friends with Danny Pena, Godfrey, and Pete, who I believe is in the chat right now. And they convinced me to come out of retirement because I came on to talk about BioShock Infinite because I just loved that game at the time, and went well. They got great feedback, and then they reached out. I was like, "Why don't you come on and be a co-host?" And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe sometimes I can't commit to anything, and I think I've never missed a show ever since. I've just, you know, that's just how it is. They're like my brothers. Love them to death, and you know, we've just been going strong ever since, and just amazed at all the support and the opportunities that we've been getting over the years. And yeah, it was just funny because obviously that very next year, that's when Destiny came out. I remember going to E3 that year. And you know, remember those early days, we were still trying to figure out, what is Destiny? What is it going to be? And I remember we sat down behind closed doors at Activision, and they had us play. It was the Devil's Lair. Am I saying that right? The old Strike.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Was that Sepix Prime? Was that, or
Sepix
not?
Prime.
That's the new version of it. But
but it was Sepix. But we played that Strike. And I remember Pete and I looked at each other. We looked at the Bungie guy that was helping us, and I took my wallet out and we just threw it at the screen. It was like, "You got us. I'm in. I get it now. I'm great." And I've been a huge fan of that game, obviously, ever since. But yeah, man. I mean, just overall, as far as just who we are and what we do, I mean, Gamertag Radio, like we said, it started off originally as just an audio podcast. We got partnered on Twitch 2 years ago now, I think. So we actually stream the podcast similar to what we're doing here right now. And then I started my own YouTube channel, and slowly but surely starting to grow that and just putting content up there. Typically it's stuff that'll intermingle with Gamertag Radio, but if there's unique things I want to just do on my own, I do those over on YouTube as well. So that's pretty much me. Oh, and I got to go to Gamescom this year. I got to go to Germany for the first time and go to Gamescom.
That's
and awesome. that was amazing because over 300,000 people go to that event. And there's nothing I can say right now to prepare you to see that many people in one place at one time. But believe it or not, it works. And for the media and everything that we do, they have the whole business area where we are. That's very similar to E3, and it's not the chaos. But I don't want to say I made the mistake, but they have like a press only day, and I got to walk all around Gamescom and see stuff. And I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. The next day, I ventured out into the public area, and I was like, oh my God, why are there so many people here? It was just insanity, but it actually works. The way they have the traffic flows and everything, it absolutely works. It's a lot of, and you know, it's just that's why people go there every year. But Cologne, Germany, it's beautiful. Had a great week while I was there. Bungie was there, so I got to hang out with those guys a few nights while we were there. So yeah, it was a good time.
Nice. And that's one of the things you mentioned that was so amazing is seeing your hands in so many, like deep into so many different communities, like with Destiny, with the Division, and with Cyberpunk too. Like I feel like your reaction video to the first like interaction with Cyberpunk is like, it feels like a viral video. It's like the thing that they're gonna use, you know, like they're so pumped about it.
So funny thing with that, I have to give full credit to Godfrey, to Danny, because that was his idea to do that, the first one, where because I wasn't at the last 2 years of E3, work has interfered, so I've not technically been at E3, but I live out here in Southern California, so I was going after work. So that Cyberpunk appointment I had, you look in that video, I'm literally in my like what I wore to work. Like I drove from work, went to the convention center, and went straight there to that. And they purposely had already seen the demo and everything. And I was like, don't tell me nothing. I don't know nothing. I just want to go in and see it. So I go in, I see, I didn't even know they were there because I just, like I said, I literally just went there. So when I came out, that was truly just my natural reaction. I had no idea they were going to be
incredible.
So, and then like you said, it went viral. So this year, same scenario. I didn't think I was going to go to E3 at all. I literally scheduled the very last appointment for the last day for Cyberpunk to go see it. I didn't think I was going to be able to go. And just during that whole week, because, you know, the year has gone by, I've gotten to know some people over at CD Projekt Red. They're messaging me, are you coming? I was like, I got the last appointment. I don't know. I'll see if I can make it. You know, a lot of people knew I was going to try and make it. And then sure enough, I found out I could be able to make it. So I got to go, and I'm in that. I go see the new demo. And I walk out, and again, Danny's idea, he got everybody that was on the CD Projekt Red away team to literally sit there and clap and applaud as I came out.
So cool.
And so that was the whole thing. So yeah, it was just the wildest thing. And then when I went to Gamescom this year, because now at this point they all know me.
Yes.
So you know, I'm like hanging out with them in their the business center where they were doing the private demos there and everything. I went out to the public area and I'm walking around, and you know, some of the CD Projekt Red people knew me, so I'm talking to them. And then there's people in line at Germany, and they're looking at me and they're pointing like, "Wait, that's him!" Yeah. That's him. Yeah, so it's been an awesome little year plus with Cyberpunk, man. So I'm truly excited for when that game comes out next year. It's because I'm gone. I'm not playing Destiny, nothing. I'm just disappearing off the face of the earth on February 16th, 2020 to play that game. So yeah, it's been pretty cool.
I believe it, man.
Jumping back a little bit before we move on, I just want to. I was just thinking, like, we talk Lego, you know, most of these episodes lately. We're like, oh man, like episode 155, like I can't believe we've been doing it that long, right? But you know, you guys, I know you haven't been there since the very beginning, but you're about to do the 1000th episode. Is that right, Parris? For Gamer Tag Radio?
Yeah. It's so funny. So you've seen the tweets that's going back and forth. So we did the math, and it should be January of 2020. We should be doing episode 1000 if we keep at our current two week an episode pace, right? So. And with Danny and I were having a conversation offline. We're like, man, who should we get? What kind of guest should we get on? And I was like, it's got to be Phil Spencer. We got to get him. that's the guy. If you're gonna this literally started as an Xbox podcast. You've been there since day one, and we sat down with Phil Spencer back in 2014 or something like that. We got to interview him at E3. So it's like, if we could get him for the 1000th episode to basically celebrate this long-running podcast that has just been a big supporter of Xbox all these years, he'd be the perfect candidate. Because, you know, we talk to Aaron Greenberg every year. We talk to a lot of other people from Xbox, but we've only gotten Phil once. And with 2020 being the absolute most important, biggest year in the history of Xbox, I think it'd be very appropriate. And look, he's not going to give us any secrets or anything, but he could just talk about the importance of them rolling out Scarlet, what they're doing with xCloud, what they're doing with Game Pass, why Halo Infinite, and I will say this until I'm proven wrong, Halo Infinite is the most important game they have ever made, in my opinion, and why they have to absolutely nail that next holiday. So it'd be great to get him on. So that's why it's like, no shame. I tweeted it. Hey, because he follows me on Twitter. So it's like, dude, come on the podcast. So it's like, that's how you get things started in 2019. You ask on Twitter. Yep. But we'll see what happens moving forward. But I figure, hey, start talking about it now if we want to make it happen by January. And hopefully, you know, we can figure it out and get him on.
Yeah, dude. So if you're listening to REZOcast right now, and if you're not following Parris and Gamertag Radio, you need to go and find the tweets where they're tagging him to get him to come on the show and just retweet the heck out of it. Like we need to everything on our part we can to make that happen, because that would be incredible. I know y'all can do it too. Like that would be just insanely awesome. So we're big congrats to the 1,000th coming up. I know it's not here yet, but it's coming.
I was just saying, I'm
No,
not.
I appreciate that.
I'm not gonna be able
go
to
ahead.
talk about how many episodes we've done for another 20 years until we catch
No,
up. And
yeah,
then I
we're
can
done.
start talking about that.
I mean, I'll just say this. First of all, thank you for that. The credit goes to Danny Pena Godfrey, because he started all this. I'm not talking to you right now without him, because I was literally a listener of him. Like, just going to real quick story. I used to remember him back in like 2004, 2005, like leading up to Gamertag Radio. He used to go on the Team Xbox forums and he used to spam all the time. Hey, listen to my show. Come listen to this. I'm like, God, who is this guy? Okay, fine. And I would listen. I was like, oh wow, this is cool. They're doing a podcast. This is awesome. So he was one of the podcasts that I would listen to. And then I saw him and another good friend of mine that did another podcast I liked too, and he wound up working for Xbox. They had a video, and this was in 2006, where they were at Xbox for a Lord of the Rings event or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, you can go to Microsoft because you do a podcast. I want to do this too. So
Right.
I reached out to Danny. I reached out to Chris, who was the other person. And I was like, hey, I'm trying to get into podcasting. Can you give me any tips and all that stuff? And they absolutely, they emailed back. They gave me tips like, hey, get Adobe Audition, do this, do that, get on Skype, all this stuff. And I did my own podcast for a long time, like I said, until from 2006 to 2011. And it was great. And just all the amazing opportunities and things that I've been able to have all go back to Danny. I like I said, I will always give him the first credit for that. And he gets all the credit for Gamertag Radio hitting 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, well, y'all put on an amazing show. It's if y'all haven't listened to it before, if you're listening to REZOcast, y'all need to check it out because it covers so much more than this show ever. Like it's so super professional. Go check it out. There's a reason they've been doing it for almost 1,000 episodes. And to jump back to, well, Triton, you go ahead. It looks like you're going to say something about it.
Yeah, I because Hove's getting all nostalgic here, talking about the episodes that we've done. The 155, and when I think about it, for
You've
the ones
been here for like
I've
20.
been here, yeah, I've only been here for 70, but for the ones that I have been here, we've had a lot of guests on, but I actually don't remember having another guest on that had kind of done, obviously more than what we're doing, but also had a kid who was playing the game with them. I can't really think about that as often. So I'm curious, Parris, you talk about kind of the opportunities that you've had over the years, and it's really cool because you kind of got in kind of like at the grassroots, right?
Yeah.
When podcasts were like, well, what's this and what's that? So with all the experiences you have, and now that, gaming isn't just, a passion, but it can be your career. Do you ever have conversations with your kids like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this could be a viable thing? Do they have any of those types of curiosities? I want to know, have you had those kind of conversations? And
I take it Triton's having these conversations
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Well, it's funny. All three of my kids are obviously well aware of what I do. My son is probably the most curious out of all of them to potentially, if I could see potentially doing any of this. My oldest daughter, I'm old, by the way. I have an almost 18-year-old at this point. She's graduating high school this year, but she knows her career path. She knows what she wants to do. She just plays games for enjoyment. My youngest daughter, she's still too young at this point. I mean, it's just a curious. Hey, Dad goes in the room and talks a lot. I mean, that's kind of her thing. So, but I do get a lot of people that do reach out to me though, and young people that do ask me for advice about, how do you get into podcasting? How do you get into streaming, YouTube, all that stuff? What can I do? And the advice I give all of them is, number one, do it because it's fun. If you're just doing this to make money or become ninja or something like that, there is a high and probable chance that you will not reach those heights. Okay.
Yep.
So it's like, just do it because you're passionate about it. Do it because you love it, because it's fun. And just be consistent with it. If you're going to do it, talk about the things that you enjoy to talk about. Don't look, obviously you need to listen to your audience to get feedback from them. But if your audience wants you to talk about Red Dead Redemption and you hate cowboy games, then don't talk about Red Dead Redemption, because you're not going to offer anything valuable to that. That's why, like with Destiny, I have people that give me grief all the time that I talk so much about Destiny. Guess what? I freaking love Destiny, so I'm going to talk about something I like. Sorry, that's just the fact. Of course, I'll talk about other things and all that, but I'm always going to come back to something that's passionate for me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think your audience appreciates when you're actually passionate about something and not just going through the motions of, well, I got to talk about this because this is what they want, or this is hot in the news right now. No, do the things that you're passionate about. Your audience, because my thing is this: your only audience you're going to have when you first started is you, your mom, your wife or girlfriend, and maybe an aunt or two. That's it. No one else is listening to what you do. So you can't expect to have instant success. You just do it. You be consistent. And if you're really good at what you're doing, your audience is going to find you eventually. That's just how it is. Now, I will also throw in, and not everyone agrees with me on this, I love podcasting. I absolutely love it. It is a passion of mine. Obviously, it's what got me into this. I think at this point, I'm pretty good at it, I guess, right? But I realize where we are with technology now. And if you're not putting your face in front of a camera, you cannot expect to have the same success as people that are streaming or doing YouTube content. Podcasting is great. And if you're not named Joe Rogan or Bill Simmons, it is going to be very hard to have that success just doing an audio only format. You have to branch out and do other things as well, basically diversify yourself. So look, I try to make sure you find me everywhere. I'm on Twitch, I'm on the Google Play, I'm on iTunes, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Mixer, I'll be on the ColecoVision if I need to be, right? Because that's what you got to do. But at the end of the day, do it because it's fun. I don't know if you saw the unboxing vid I did for the Xbox thing earlier. If you watch it, I'm genuinely excited to be opening this thing. I think I smelled it at one point, right? But that translates into what you're doing because people know that's genuine and you're not just, give me free stuff. Because a lot of people get into this to say, I just want free stuff. And dude, if that's your mentality, it's not going to work. You'll fail quickly.
Yeah,
and I know
that was long-winded, but that's
perfect.
No, that's really, really great advice. You mentioned Bill Simmons though, and I don't want to spin this off. I mean, I'm usually not the derailer, but that can easily get me into somewhere because Bill Simmons. A lot of where I've ended up in my career covering basketball involves Bill Simmons, probably off 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So. Very cool, but we won't do that today.
Well, I know, Trayton, you agree with a lot of that because I know you always talk about the thing that you're really passionate about is prenatal care, and so I know that's a big thing for you.
Okay. All right.
That was one of my words.
I think you were going to say healthcare is what I thought you were going to go with for Triton. But
I couldn't think of another way to get prenatal into this conversation.
Well, you did have that scare with that coal miner's daughter, so I would think that you would have that could have easily come up. So, just saying.
What you're talking about.
Okay. Well, Parris, even further into the gaming arena, I would love to know, just as a Destiny player, where you fall. Like, as far as you mentioned, I think pre-show or even a little bit into the intro or something, we were talking about you got some raids in, and already got a few weapons out of that. And so whether you find yourself more in PvE, PvP, what kind of class do you identify? What kind of gameplay do you like? That kind of stuff.
Okay, now this could be long-winded as well, but I'll take this back to Destiny 1. I started off as a 95% PvE player. That's all I would want to play. Just let me do my strikes. Let me go do the raid. That's all I wanted to do. Let me get on the struggle bus with Skolas when that came out. All that stuff. That's all I want to do. And then a funny thing happened. It was called Trials of the Osiris.
Mm-hmm.
And I suck at PvP. I still do. Sometimes I get lucky, I guess, right? But I really wanted to go to the lighthouse. And I actually started watching True Vanguard videos.
Yeah.
Tips. He used to do a thing called Sniper School, and I used to watch that. And then I would hear, and then I would listen to Crucible Radio and all this stuff because I was trying to figure out how can I get better at PvP because I want to go to the lighthouse. And I literally jumped out of my comfort zone because I was not comfortable in PvP at all. And I just took a deep breath. I go, you're gonna suck, you're gonna get killed a lot, but let's figure this out. And I figured it out, and I got to the lighthouse in Destiny 1. and I did it with my son. Later on, my son and I did it together. We did the whole Darth Vader and Luke thing, father and son, and we went to the lighthouse.
Yes.
And I still have that screenshot here on the PC somewhere where it's him and I in the lighthouse, and it's like something I always remember. So, long story short, yeah, I started off PvE, but then I really started getting into PvP, and I feel like since then, like going into Destiny 2, I'm just an all-around player. I mean, I like to whatever's fun mode there is to play. I like to play it like Gambit. I really got hooked into Gambit.
Oh, nice.
I'm like dredging and all that stuff, but I really like that gameplay loop because it was the best of both worlds, right? And I really like to be that a-hole that would go in and invade, and I would start to challenge myself where I would invade and only use my primary. I wouldn't use heavy or anything to see if I could do it, just things like that. And I would fail a lot, but then I get success, whatever. But that was the whole point, and I think that's why I like Destiny so much, because there's so many different activities you can do that you can figure out, well, this is my thing that I like to do, and go focus on that. You're not being, look, in the early days, you may have been forever 29 and forced to do all that stuff. But the way it's set up now, if all you want to do is Vex Invasion, knock yourself out. You can go do that and you can have a blast. If all you want to do is go raid, you can go do that. If all you want to do is PvP, you can do that, Gambit, etc. So I think it's a really good, like I said, I know this is long-winded, but I think, like I said, for me overall, I just do everything because I just like to do it. But if I find a mode that I don't like, which I will say was the Black Armory, the Forges, I hated it.
Yeah,
so
right?
I never got Izanagi?
Izanagi's, yeah.
I never got Izanagi's Burden, but now with the raid, now that's the meta in the raid, I am scrambling right now to get it because I got halfway through the quest and now I need that rare bounty to drop to finish it.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's not happening. It's absolutely not. Like, matter of fact, when we get off of here, I got to go see if GoFan and Forges opens because I got to go do something there. But but that's just, but that's the beauty of Destiny. It's like, here I am now revisiting from 9 months ago, and I'm desperate to get a weapon out of there because I know it's going to help me with some new content that I want to go.
Ketch mentioned that was bugged. You mentioned that, Parris. I think she had it on earlier on. She tweeted something, Ketch in our clan, and she mentioned like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a friend to get this, and we can't get this certain part at all. Is there a problem?" So maybe.
It sounds like from what I was reading on the Reddit forums, the thing is I forget which forge it might be GoFan, I forget, but one of the forges is bugged on Xbox and it crashes a lot, and then people are speculating that the rare bounty is bugged, but I've had a lot of people tweeting at me saying, no, I've been able to get it. Okay. One guy told me save up 12 bounties to ADA tournament all at once and you'll get it. I'm desperate enough at this point to try it.
Try anything.
So we'll see.
Dude, I lucked out so much with that thing because I didn't know that that's what you needed. And as I was talking about it was during the Black Armory season, but I was just talking about something and I hated doing the Forges. Like, that's probably my least favorite Destiny activity that's come out. And not that it wasn't fine. It wasn't something that I wanted to do because I play what's fun. Like you said, it's just whatever's fun for me, that's what I'm going to do, even if it doesn't help me all the time. But that bounty just happened to drop for me, the special one. And somebody was like, complete it, but do not click complete. And I was like, okay, I won't. And I just waited until finally I got the Izanagi's thing and it worked out, but I lucked out so hard because it sounds incredibly difficult to get that thing to drop. So I apologize for that. That just sucks.
Now I have to tell a story though. I'll just put it in here now where because like I said, just did Garden and Salvation. My first clear was probably the worst experience I've had in a raid, and not because of people, because of me. In the 5 years I've been doing this, I don't know what happened. Because I know you have you guys all cleared it?
Do you know I haven't. No, but I've watched the clearing.
Okay, I won't spoil what it is, but basically in the final encounter, I was doing the Gambit roll, right? Yeah. And some people fell out, so then they switched me over to the builder roll. And my hands went like this because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was screwing up a lot. And we at one point had him to an inch of his life. It was like all we had to do was give him the damage phase and breathe on him and he would have died. And then we screwed that up. And then every run after that, I was the reason we failed. It was literally my low point in this game. I felt so bad. If you look in the Discord, you'll see me apologizing in there. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. but then the coolest thing happened is I tweeted about it, just like because I was bummed out, and another friend of mine was like, "Oh no, dude, come join me in my clan." He was like, "Come," because I explained to him what I was doing. He's like, "No, we'll get you that clear, dude. You got the checkpoint." And I'm like, "Yeah." Literally the first run, and I did building. Literally the first run, and we got it. So, but that's how awesome this community is, right? And that's why I like it so much, because people are so willing to go out of their way and help, because here were 5 other dudes that they'd already cleared it, they were done, they hopped back on just to help me out so I can get it clear. And that's why I love the community as a whole. I love this clan because everyone's willing to help each other out. It's very awesome.
Yeah, I would say that's been, I mean, we could go on about our favorite Destiny experiences forever, I know, because just as you were talking about the Trials run with your son, I was like, oh man, like that brings back so many different things for me.
I heard the word lighthouse and I was like, oh man.
I know.
Yeah.
But with just like favorite, like just as a general broad stroke, it's always community focused moments that are like some of your favorites, and one of them for me last season was I'd never done any sort of Trials helps when that was a thing, but I feel like I've improved so much as a player over the past like Destiny 2's course. I was like, I can help people at least get Recluse or Mountaintop, get that rank. And so I started helping people last season, and I got to be able to help 20 people or something from the community. And that just felt so good and it was so exciting to have someone with you that never thought they would get that item, and just to be with them. And they're like, oh my gosh, I got this PvP thing. And I never touch PvP. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to the community. It's so fun to see everybody helping each other. And we've all talked about it on the podcast before, is how it's like, this is the first game that really brought a lot of us into a gaming community where we were all kind of solo players before. And it forces you to be with other people. So I love Destiny for that.
It's funny though, I still can't get you to help me in PvP.
This is not true. We got you at least a 5 streak going the other night.
Lego doesn't even bother to text me, so like he had to wait until the podcast to figure out I didn't have Shadowkeep on PS4, so he never even tried. Never even tried to play with me. He was like, and then he was like, "Oh, you don't have it on PS4?"
Oh,
do you remember that time Lego thought we were from Philadelphia?
That too, after a year of knowing him.
This does bring up something interesting that does have to do with the whole cross save thing we were talking about earlier. Because it split communities in a way between PC and console stuff, but also brought more people together at the same time. But one thing I really wish more than anything, because you have cross save and people that can go back and forth, is if we had a universal friends list somehow that showed people like, your friends are online on PC right now in the clan, but they're on PC. Like, this is how many people on PS4, this is how many people on PC, because people would switch to play the other platforms, but I just don't know who's online on which unless they post in an LFG or something. So I just that's been a personal problem, I guess, with the whole cross save stuff, because I have friends like Hove who would jump over.
You know who's trying to work on that is CD Projekt Red. Their GOG Galaxy 2.0. I've been beta testing that, and I got to meet with those guys when I was at Gamescom, and they're trying to get feedback and all that. And the universal friends list is something they're trying to do, because GOG Galaxy 2.0 pulls in everything like Steam, Origin, Xbox, PlayStation. Nice. Any place you're playing a game, it will pull in your data information and show the games that you have. So they're trying to work on a thing where they can also basically pull in all those friends lists together. So that could potentially be a solution to what you're saying, where now, I can see, you're playing this on that platform. I can send you an invite through here or whatever. Xbox kind of sort of has something like that with Xbox and PC games, because people tell me all the time, hey, I saw you were playing Destiny on Xbox. And I go, no, I wasn't. Because I show up on their friends list and it does show that I'm playing Destiny, but with a PC icon. Even though I'm on Steam playing, it still shows that I play. And that used to happen all the time when I played like The Witcher or something like that too. They were like, oh, you're playing The Witcher on Xbox. I go, no, I wasn't. They're like, but they're seeing it through Xbox, even though you're on PC, because, I have the Xbox app on PC. Right. So I guess it's tying in some way, I guess.
Okay. So it's a little better between Xbox and PC then. It's mainly it's mainly me that is suffering. Well, that's cool. Did y'all have any more questions y'all wanted to throw at Parris before we moved on to, I know we had Iron Banner this week. I know we got some other Destiny stuff to talk about, but I wanted to open it up before we moved on.
Yeah, I'd say let's just get into Destiny.
Yeah, I know we want to get to it. So there is Iron Banner. Well, first, before I even get into Iron Banner, we didn't do a proper job last week. Parris brought up the raid of giving congrats to Clan of Sin for their raid completion, the first people to make it. We kind of like touched on the raid and stuff, but I feel like we didn't do it proper. You know, we talked about how beautiful it was and all this different stuff. But I just wanted to give props to the team that completed it, and also just say like it was amazing watching the race again. I think I've decided that is going to be my route from now on. Like I love that they have the not competition. What's the contest mode? Yeah,
the contest modifier. Yeah.
I think it's incredible, and but even if I don't participate, I just love watching the race. Like it feels exciting, like an esports type thing, you know. Especially we had a you know, I'm mentioning our our friendly Rezo rivals, DCP, but they did a great job hosting with, I think Mav Show is on there, Trav, some other people. We're kind of like hosting who was in the lead, and that was awesome to watch. Just watching the community go down with stuff like that is always so fun. So just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't feel like we did a good enough job of it last week. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to say? Parris, what did you think about? I know you were doing rating. What did you think? Do you have any thoughts on contests or the way that they released it on Saturday or anything like that?
Yeah. So it's funny. Going back, I guess this would have been about June of this year or May or whatever. I think it's before they officially announced Monad. They just said they had a new 6-person thing coming, but didn't say exactly what it was. I was very grumpy with Bungie in the way that they were handling the raids, because I felt like they weren't giving everyone an opportunity to participate. It was really starting to become if you're a streamer or a person that doesn't have a job and is home all day, you can participate in our raid that we push out to you on a Tuesday when normal people are at work or at school or whatever, right? And I had a conversation with someone at Bungie at E3, and they had hinted that, hey, I think we got something coming that you're really going to like. I think this solves the problem. And it turned out to be that, with the contest modifier. And I was like, this is a great first step, but there needs to be more. And then the more is putting it on Saturday. So right. I think that, to me, that was the perfect way to do it, because if you want to participate in the raid, you can do it. Because it isn't about who gets to sit at home all day and power level up, because they're capping it at 920. Everyone was able to hit 920 by Saturday if they really wanted to, right? Being on a Saturday, if you want to participate, most people work Monday through Friday. You're able to be home. You're able to participate. If you just want to sit and watch, you're not slacking off at work. You're actually able to be home and watch it. So it was the best of both worlds. Whether you're a participant or a viewer, it allowed everyone to be involved in the raid race, which I think was perfect. And it becomes a one-day thing, 24-hour thing. Obviously, everything that's tied to that. And then after that, they open it up and people can do it at their leisure. I purposely was like, that's too much stress for me. I'm not doing all that. I'll just watch. And even then, I didn't want to be too spoiled. So I would just go to like DCP or whatever. I'd peek every now and again. Oh, okay, that looks cool. And then I saw someone won, and then that was it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. Triton, I know you did you get to watch the race at all or anything like that with the raid? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I know like Saturday, the only like con for Saturday is I know a lot of people that's like their family time, and if they wanted to watch the race, but even then, like I feel like it, like Parris said, it opens up the doors for like the most people with the time, like given beforehand.
It's never going to be perfect.
It's never going to be exactly for everyone. That's impossible. And I feel like it's just it's such a cool thing that they've done. I really love it. Even as not a PvE player, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's about the best that it's going to be. I'm glad they made the changes, and I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this week we had Iron Banner go on, and I saw a lot of really great things people saying about it, and I saw a lot of like crazy, like, oh, this matchmaking's terrible. You know, all the conversations about matchmaking, skill based, all that comes up again.
Lots of new stuff, right? Lots of new conversations.
Yeah, so like every other time.
Yeah, sure. No, I know it is a real concern for a lot of people, because they feel like, I think the main conversation that keeps coming up every time Iron Banner comes up is people feel like they can't play with their friends because it skill-based matches them into a higher bracket and it makes it more difficult for them to play the game. But I just want to say from my own personal experience, like I'm at 5,500 already. Like I know Bungie's putting me in a higher skill bracket when I play, but I went to play with a couple of groups that weren't big PvP players, and it was fun. Like it was like we had a close game. Like we had one game end like 151 to 150. Like it was like 1 point like away. And so yeah, they were like some tough games, but it was well balanced. It felt like, and for a activity, and I was thinking about this on top of that, for an activity that gives you pinnacle rewards that are as good as raid stuff, like it should be kind of hard. I don't think people have that idea when it comes to Iron Banner anymore, because in D1 it was a catch-up mechanic, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine from my personal experience, and I had a lot of people like Rally and some other people on Discord were like, I kept hearing it was awful, but I played it and it was fine. Like it was whatever. What was y'all's experience with Iron Banner?
I actually haven't gotten into Iron Banner yet this week. The time I have had to play, I've been trying to get to Legend. Like
a decent light level?
No, my light level's mostly fine. Shut up. No, mostly like I'm so close to Legend. Like I just want to get that out of the way and be done with that for this season. So I'll probably play it this weekend some, but yeah, like you said, it's the same. You know, you're hearing mostly the same things. The only new thing, and they said they fixed it. Everyone was talking about the maps, and they did come out and say that it was a bug that only the new maps, I think, were in there.
No, it wasn't a bug. It was purposeful.
Oh, it
like
was
they
purposeful?
wanted. Yeah, they wanted to showcase.
Oh.
That's what they said.
It's a feature, not a bug, right?
Yeah.
But either way, they changed that now, right?
Yeah, which I actually enjoyed that, like playing the new map, because I didn't get to play them a whole lot in the rotations I was playing, I guess, in comp or elimination. So it was nice to play them a little bit more and get used to them, because I don't know them at all.
Wait,
anybody else?
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, a little bit. No, I said at the top, yeah, I played. Like I said, I already ran through all the bounties and, did it on the one character. Now I need to jump on my Warlock and do it. I've been having fun with it. I've been solo queuing a lot because I just did it during the day yesterday.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was interesting, and I know there's been a theory about this too. I don't feel like I really ran into any teams. I felt like it was definitely other solo people I was running into. I felt like a couple times it was very clear I ran into a team because we got stomped. But for the most part, it seemed like it was all solo players, and maybe a couple doubles here and there. And yeah, it was, for gameplay wise, it was fine. I mean, obviously going through the bounties and the quest stuff, there were certain objectives you have to do with certain weapons, so you could tell when someone was on the fusion rifle part, because everyone's just firing fusions, things like that. But I had fun, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's the best part of it. I feel like what they've done with the sandbox so far, I feel like look, nothing's perfect, but I don't feel like everyone's running around with a shotgun. I don't feel like everyone's just using like one particular weapon. There seems to be a decent balance there. I know they're fixing the Titan striker stuff or whatever, rip. But other than that, I mean, it's nothing. It's been nothing crazy, I guess, to where I'm just not having fun playing. I feel like, hey, all right, you got me on this one. I'll get you the next time, kind of thing. So it's been fun.
Nice. Trine, did you jump into it at all?
Yeah, my experience was going to Saladin and seeing that I had 152 tokens and wondering if I could get the armor just by redeeming those, and that was...
Oh no!
I don't think you can, right?
Because you gotta complete the quest first.
So I'm not gonna waste these, but I thought about it, checked Twitter a bunch, checked like other things, and be like, oh, can I get these? And then I really couldn't, so I was like, okay, well, I didn't want to do it at the time, because I like I said, I was convinced that since I didn't buy Forsaken, because Destiny 2 was free, and I bought Shadowkeep on PC, but didn't buy Forsaken, I'm like, am I missing out on, powerful engrams somewhere? Either we're at tier 1 or tier 2, so actually I was trying to mop up so many other things and get the Vex offensive. I just didn't do it. So I went there, talked to him, pondered if I should waste those for a minute, researched it, found out that it would be a waste, then left. So
I think you made the right move, because honestly, this is one thing that they did change with Iron Banner, which I think is worth bringing up, is the quest is way easier than last season's quest of like you had to get there was grenade kills was the big one that was so
that's right,
difficult
yeah.
to do. And so many people were like, gosh, this was a grind. It took me like 3 different weeks of Iron Banner to finally complete that one.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they changed that because I love the new just get these weapon kills, and that was it.
Okay.
I'm sure you were a big fan of the fusion rifle part, right? Like,
I actually, the SMG one was my favorite because no one really, other than Recluse, and I had the Eris Morn SMG from the moon, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, I liked using these other guns. Like, I thought that was a cool.
I'm not going to be able to do that one with you because I'm so used to SMGs on PC. Like, they're just really bad.
Oh, shut up.
I'm sorry.
They are so different, I'm sure. On console, it was funny because everybody were just like, they were running around with their SMGs being unable to aim on console. So it was great. It was a lot of fun watching people just be potatoes for a little bit.
I'm always a
If
potato.
you're using a controller on PC, does it feel the way that it does on PC? Or if you're using a controller,
it still feels so much better with a controller on PC
Really?
than
It
than
does.
console.
It does.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth because I always like to test that out to see how it feels. And look, I've said since 2017 when they first brought the PC version out, this is one of the best optimized games I've ever seen on PC, and it just keeps getting better. Even just the controls, everything. Whether you're using a controller, mouse, and keyboard, does not matter. The experience. Get a PC. Get it on PC, dude. It's just so much better on PC. It has nothing to do with mouse and keyboard. So good.
I know for sure that it's like super optimized because I was able to boot camp it on my Mac and play it on its lowest settings, and it was fine. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And I have, this is just a normal MacBook, nothing crazy. And it was like 2015, able to run Destiny 2 just fine. I was like, what? Like, how's this possible?
You're the last holdout on the podcast, Lego. You gotta make it happen.
I know. I gotta represent the console people, though. Come on.
But one of
Yeah.
these days, DCP is gonna quit being scared and finally play us, like they keep talking about. And you're not gonna be there.
The 2 undefeateds will finally go down. Clash of the podcasts. I know. Well, I think that's pretty much it for Iron Banner, other than the shaders are awesome. New shaders, new armor. Look, at least for Titan, I love my new Titan armor. I had to mix it up a bit. It didn't look right at first, but I got it looking good after a little while.
You gonna try to get that fashion emblem?
I'm thinking about it, but I think Mark Square in Rezo is gonna get it first because he's all about it. So I'm sure he actually introduced me to the best subreddit I found for Destiny, which is Destiny Fashion subreddit. And if you're not sure what shaders look good, you need to go to that subreddit and get yourself some fashion. It's awesome.
It was months ago, but I think it was Seabay posted a picture of his hunter, and it was this like black with red, like everything was black with like red accents. And in my opinion, that was still like the sickest setup I've seen on anybody.
Get yourself the Bloody Tooth shader. It is incredible. Like, it looks so shiny black with red accents. Like, it's probably the best black shader in Destiny, I think, anyway. It just has this like look to it, I don't know, I love it. I feel like I could talk about Destiny fashion for a while, but I don't want to go that route right now. Well, with the TWAB, with Iron Banner out of the way, we got some new stuff with this week at Bungie. We got Master Nightmare Hunts are coming out next week, which I'm curious what the rewards are going to be for that. That's the main thing for me, because you up the level currently in the Nightmare stuff, and I didn't feel like I got anything different. I was like, okay, that was a little bit harder, but you didn't really get anything. So there has to be a purpose behind it for me. Do y'all have any thoughts on the Nightmare Hunt stuff?
It's the rewards, because right now I feel very little to go do them. But you know what I mean? I mean, I know there's a few mods that drop out of, hopefully maybe some pinnacle drops come out of it, something. I don't know, because if I got to jump on the struggle bus to clear it, I want to feel satisfied that I'm getting the justification of a reward for it, and so far they're just not there. So we'll see.
If it is if the Nightmare Hunts on the master setting is for the hardcore, I feel like Ascendant Shards would be a great reward for it, because getting your armor to the max energy and being able to nerd out on all the like mods you can put on there for your just maximum effort, that would be, I feel like, incredible. Like that would be a reason for me to go in it. Even as a PvP player, I'd be like, dude, I want to do the most difficult setting because I want to max out my gear to make me a more optimized player.
Agreed. That's
I
pretty
think
much
that's
sums it
better
up for me.
rewards.
Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
rewards if it's harder.
Other than that, we got Big Show coming out to Bungie, do the Bungie bounty, which is great.
Nice.
I love that he's always involved in stuff, and that they're going to do a Bungie bounty specifically with him. This time it's on PS4. They're going to do PC again soon, so rotating platforms. Awesome. And then after that, we get into like the nitty gritty stuff, which is the Crucible changes, which we won't, this podcast isn't really a news podcast or anything like that, but we just want to mention broadly these changes and kind of talk about them. And the big one, which Parris mentioned earlier, was the Striker Titan getting mainly its super changes to all of the classes and letting supers not last as longer. But the big one was the Striker Titan bottom tree that could just shoulder charge infinitely, heal itself, and keep going in PvP. You see it in Iron Banner right now. Like I'm so even at like I am a Titan main like through and through, and I'm so glad they're addressing this. It's just like it's crazy right now. That thing can go forever.
I feel like deep down you're sad about it though.
I mean, I gotta, cut the umbilical cord from that class at some point. As far as like the Striker Titan specifically,
Are you the baby, or is the Titan the baby? If you're cutting the umbilical cord, who's
I was never attached to the bottom tree Striker Titan that much anyway. The Thunder Crash new Forsaken subclass was always felt more cool to me. But really, I mean, they haven't touched Sentinel yet, which is a crazy good class with the shield throw, and you can throw as many as you want and they chase you forever. I'm surprised they haven't touched that yet. I'm not saying it's broken. I'm just saying it's really good. So
that's actually what I like to run. I run Sentinel Titan all the time just so I can throw the shield at someone and piss them off. I love it.
Don't you love it when you throw that shield, like just you just have a little bit of super left and you're just like, I'm just gonna throw it, and it goes around the corner like, oh, I got 3 kills. What?
It does feel like I like playing against it. If someone throws it, it's just kind of like you can go around a corner, you can jump over like cover. It doesn't matter. Like it's gonna get
Captain America. Yeah.
I don't know.
That thing doesn't obey the laws of physics.
Right. So I've only played with Cosmo one time, I think, and it was in not trials, but it was in competitive, and I was a last man standing. It was a 1v3 or something like that. Popped my Sentinel shield, and I did some like crazy last ditch like shield throw, went around the corner, and that was that was my quote. Like, that thing doesn't obey the laws of physics. Like, that play should not have happened, but I'm glad I got the 1v3 off in front of a Bungie dev. Felt good.
They got the name drops tonight, huh?
I mean, we've got Parris on the podcast, the ultimate name drop, so...
No.
He's going out, with the cyberpunk guys, like behind the scenes. He's the ultimate name drop right now. I mean, people are recognizing him in line. So super changes.
People recognize me at GuardianCon Lego. They just think I'm Hovey.
Yeah,
not me.
That's Hove's name drop.
Yeah.
Oh, and I recognize Hove at strip clubs too. So, I mean, you do have some. I mean, there's some recognition you get, Hove.
Well, did y'all have anything else y'all want to throw out about the super changes? The other thing for me was they mentioned one-eyed mask. No changes yet, but I know that's like the big player thing. Right now, players too are really talking about Mountaintop and Recluse and one-eyed mask are the hot topics with fusion rifles. Did y'all, I just want to, we could go into that forever, but I just want to briefly throw it out there. Did y'all have any thoughts on, like, is any of this stuff aggravating y'all in PvP to no end? Or do y'all feel like any changes need to happen to these things that the community this week is just in an uproar about?
And like I was saying earlier, I know they're there, but it's not as aggravating as when we were just in the shotgun meta. Like I said, that was annoying, where people are hitting you with a shotgun from across the map. There's nothing you can do. So, I mean, it's there. It's an annoyance. I'm sure they're going to eventually nerf a lot of this stuff, but it's fine. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
The only one of those, there are times that one-eyed mask kind of gets to me, because you'll be like, you'll run up on a guy who's almost dead or something, and he'll manage to shoot somebody else and kill them, and then all of a sudden you were in a fight with him, and now he's full health and has an overshield, and you're just kind of screwed. you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, they said they're going to touch that though, so I'm not that upset. But yeah, as far as the other two, I kind of agree with Parris. Like Mountaintop, I'm aware of at times. I just hate grenade launchers for some reason. I just really do. But Recluse doesn't bother me at all. Really, like I get how strong it can be. You know, you get a kill with any other weapon, and all of a sudden, it's doing like pretty much crit damage to the body, right? Like,
yeah, it does.
It's really strong, but I don't know. Like I said, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I die to it, and I go, well, that sucks. Don't run up on that. But we'll see. They're gonna change it eventually. It's gonna happen.
I haven't really played PvP since Mountaintop and Recluse has been a thing, right? Because during the summer, it's been the summer
right,
my kids
you had
playing baseball, so I wasn't really playing any PvP. I'd mask a little bit when I was, but the other day I was doing some Gambit Prime. I got match made with 2 guys that were using that setup on my team. So I'm like, this is great. They have like no modes over here. We're just wrecking through Gambit here as they jump over there and wipe the team every time with it. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to complain now. That's really my only exposure to Mountaintop and Recluse, is literally having 2 guys on my team doing it, and we absolutely destroyed them. So
I think God just showed up in the room behind Triton.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm yeah, the rapture's happening. Sorry guys. Podcast will be ending quickly.
Oh man. Well, I'm with you guys. Like, it doesn't really bother me too much. And if they do like nerf these things, like, it's fine. I've been talking about it on Twitter a lot, and I feel like if they do nerf something, I'll just adjust whatever I am using. I don't really use any of these guns except fusion rifles anyway. I use Mountaintop recently just to use Skyburner's Oath with it, just because it's fun to run the AC-130 build and get my scout rifle kills.
You don't use One-Eyed Mask at all?
No, I use Peregrine Greaves because it's so.
Didn't you just get them though?
No, I got them again in Armor 2.0 in the element that I needed to run all the stuff I wanted. So it was perfect. Okay. But I think Parris might be able to relate to this. Running Sentinel all the time. My goal in PvP is just like, how many supers can I shut down? Like, if I shut down one super, I'm like ecstatic for the rest of the game, So that's why I run Peregrine Greaves, because it's just one more option for me to shut down a super with. Parris, do you relate to that at all? With like,
100%. Like I said, my goal in life is to piss everyone off. That's what I care about.
Oh man. Yeah, so I'm just whatever with it all. It's like, I get why some people are upset, but it doesn't really bother me personally.
I do think to a point though, it's almost a good thing that those are like what's being talked about, because really those are the only big outliers right now, right? Like the rest of the sandbox feels really good. And
it's
those
amazing.
Ones stick out, and that's why they're such a big problem. But like I said, in a way, that's like, hey, these 2 weapons are a problem because everything else is fine. So,
well, that actually brings me for a question for Parris. What is your favorite guns in Destiny right now? Like, if you were just like, oh, I love these ones.
I'm really digging that Raid Pulse rifle. I'm forgetting it's sacred
I keep
something.
Hearing good things, yeah.
Because mine rolled with Outlaw and Kill Clip on it.
So
and the only bad part about it is it has a slightly slow reload, but you can fix that with one of the mods. Right. So once I did that, I mean, I'm just wrecking people in PvP with it. I'm having a blast with it. So that one right now is probably my favorite one. I think I'm really a pulse rifle guy because my clutch go-to is my Bygones that I have. I have a God roll Bygones. I always dust that one off just to go in. Like, it's at 750. I haven't upgraded or nothing. I just go into PvP with it. That's all I use it for. So I really love that, and I love that 21% Delirium. I've been using that a lot. Like in the raid, I've been using that a lot recently as well. So I would say, and there's a sniper. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of it. There's another sniper.
Raid one?
Oh, I was gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's so good.
I heard it was so good.
Yeah, it's so good. I've been using that in I almost feel like I am True Van PvP using that thing. But it's really good. But no, it's Soul Survivor. I like that one. I have a pretty good roll on Soul Survivor as well, so I like using that too. But I would say the new weapons so far. I really like, and I'm forgetting the exact role I have on it, but I'm really liking the Vex Offensive SMG, the submachine gun.
Yeah,
that's actually the one I use
too,
in Iron Banner. That's the one I use in Iron Banner to get all those kills. It's pretty good. That thing's like a laser, shooting with it, and it's on PC, so it's a lot better.
Of course.
But yeah, I would say right now those are kind of my favorite ones to use. I would go back to the Void Titan, the Sentinel Titan again. Bubble Bros are back, using the bubble a lot, especially in the raid. Really comes in clutch for that to get the weapons of light. Right. And then again, you just use it in PvP to piss people off. Like I'll just pop the bubble and I'll sit in it and I'll just wave at people. They run in, but no, it's been a lot of fun.
We ran into that team the other day, Lego. Remember that guy was running the bubble, and it was like.
And you got him out of it.
Well, yeah, because he immediately popped the bubble and then just jumped and floated way above it. And I was standing, I was like, "All right," and I just waited, waited, and as soon as he peaked, I just sniped him, and all his teammates were standing in the bubble, and we were like, "All right, go get him." Like, if you're gonna pop a bubble, stay there. Pro tip: stay close.
Unless you're Sheik from Destiny Fun Police, and then you can play with your enemy, Well, that's pretty much it for the TWAB. The last thing I want to say about the TWAB this week, there's some amazing artwork from all the developers, artists within Bungie, and they shout out their names and show different things that they worked on. There's a lot of people working on this game, a lot of beautiful scenery, but a lot of cool, like, behind the scenes stuff too. Like, they show an image of a finisher in their test environment, and they give shout out to the person who worked on it. And it's just always cool to see behind the scenes stuff and just like the quality of their work from the angle, that they're designing it from, and or best seen from their point of view. And it's beautiful. You got to go check it out if you love the way that Destiny the game looks.
Look at Sacred Provenance. I just looked it up.
The Pulse, I heard that. I heard it's so good. I heard all the new raid weapons are so good. Even though there's not much like PvP specific loot, there's so many good guns for PvP in like the raid and in the Vex Offensive and From the Moon. Like that, there's just like all this stuff. I think True Vanguard was actually talking about people were complaining about the loot, but that there's so much actually there if you dig into it.
Yeah, I think I saw that tweet as well. But actually, I want to ask you guys a question. When it comes to that, how do you feel about the lack of vendor refreshes? Like, even more specifically with the Crucible, the fact that we didn't get a refresh on those weapons, is that okay with you, or do you wish they would have done something at the beginning of Shadowkeep?
It's pretty huge. I'll go first because it's pretty huge for me. It's something that even from like almost the beginning of D2, I was like, man, I miss vendor refreshes. We haven't really had, like, in the beginning we had some faction stuff, but after that it was like blank, as far as the refreshes, especially for PvP. The only thing the game is so fun for me that I can get by with the minimum, but it would be more fun if I had even just a skin to chase, like something new at 5,500 every season that was just an emblem or a shader or anything associated with it to have that accomplishment. And the fact that there's nothing except for new Iron Banner stuff, which is something, is kind of a bummer. But you can see that. I think what's holding me over and not making me complain at all about it really is that I can see their vision for a better PvP environment with them throwing in the 3v3 playlist now for competitive, which is different, and the elimination in Crucible Labs. Like, I could live in that playlist. It's so fun to me, even though we don't have rewards associated with it yet. I can see that there's eventually down the line going to be. I would think it's crazy to not think that they're going to do something with that. So I'm bummed right now that there isn't as much, but there's so much in PvE. Even not as a big PvE player, it's still so much good content. The story's great. There's so many weapons and Armor 2.0. There's just so much added in this expansion that it's hard to complain for me when there's so much other stuff to explore, even if there's not specifically PvP stuff.
I mean, I look at it from a few different ways, and for anyone who listens to this or has listened to this show, like, I'm pretty easy to, like, it's hard to, like, get me upset about this stuff. On one side, like, a vendor refresh, we used to get them all the time. I'd like it again, that kind of stuff. But I don't, like, I'm the kind of person, I don't worry about min-maxing. I don't worry about perfect. I find guns that I like. I get a good roll. I'm good for the most part. And honestly, I also don't care where the guns come from, right? Like, we may not have had vendor refreshes, but we got raid weapons, we got like Eris weapons, we got Vex offensive weapons. Like, there's still a lot of stuff out there. Yeah, maybe it's not coming from those specific places, but it's not like there isn't new stuff. And also on that, I mean, this was step one, and they've said it's going to take, what, three or four seasons, step one of really completely changing the way Destiny functions, right?
Right. That's
not a flip of a switch. Like, they're working on a lot of things. So if getting new weapons, but ones that aren't called, the faction weapons or whatever, like, if that's the trade-off, great. Like, the game is being completely overhauled. Like, we'll see what happens in the future, but there's still a lot of stuff out there, man. Like, and there's only so many ways until, unless they introduce new weapon types again. Like, how many different pulse rifles can you have? How many different, there's only so many. Yeah. So I'm not that upset about it. No one who listens to this is surprised that I'm not upset about it, but
yes. Yeah, I don't really care either. I mean, it's barely something I probably would notice. I mean, because I think, in Parris mentioned, like, he just goes back to the trusty bygones and things like that and just keeps it at 750 because you're using it for the Crucible. Like, there's only so many things that I want to use, even the upgrade modules. Like, I'm not going to do it now at 930, but I already have in my mind, like, these things are cool. As I'm leveling up, I use some blues, of course, like we all did. And then now I'm in the Vex offensive, so anytime I get, like, a different adaptive or, the other weapons, I think, Parris mentioned the SMG. Like, I'll use that if that's my highest thing, and it's fun. But I always know in the back of my mind, it's like, well, if I'm doing PvP and pulse rifles, or it's going to be bygones, right? Midnight Coup is definitely going to get one of those upgrade modules at some point from me. It's just so those types of things I'm going to go back to anyways. Maybe not the, like, for the WoW is like the killer shotgun forever, right? Until they nerf trench barrel. So just those types of things. I'm probably only going to go back to 4 things. So to Ho's point, wherever it comes from, there's going to be something I really like, and it's only going to be probably 2 or 3 things in each slot, and I'll be fine. Now, could that pool be bigger so that, like, eventually you get that thing? But with the way the roles work and everything else, it's, in me not being that kind of player, like a Fallout that would analyze every little thing, it's probably going to feel the same for me, and I'll just be like, oh no, this was fine. So yeah, I actually haven't really even noticed it, to be honest with you, other than, like, pondering if Saladin's going to give me something.
Oh, I noticed it. Parris, what about you, man?
No, yeah, to answer my own question, I'm fine with it. I didn't even give it a thought until I started seeing people talk about it on Twitter. I was like, oh yeah, I guess they should. But it kind of goes back, what you were saying earlier. This is step one of what they're trying to do. I mean, you got to understand, they've finally admitted that this is an MMORPG. And they finally admitted that they need to cater towards their hardcore audience with this game and stop trying to casualize it and stop trying to make it inclusive for everyone to get a participation trophy for every activity. That's not how this game should be. And I don't want it to be that way. Like, we got these master nightmare hunts coming up. Again, if you're making that hard as hell, but you're putting that carrot on the end of the stick, guess what? I'm going to go bang my head against that wall until I get that carrot, because that's how I like to play Destiny. I brought up Skolas way earlier. To me, I still wake up in cold sweats over Skolas to this day. To me, that was the hardest activity in the history of this game, because it was a 3-man activity and it was just frustrating as hell. So that when we finally cleared Skolas, that was the happiest night of my life, except when my kids were born and I got married, right? Because it was like, I could not believe we finally got past that. And that's the kind of Destiny that I want. So if you're not refreshing the weapons right now, that's fine. I'm patient. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, we have a 5-year plan, and it's going to take them time to get the game into a state where they want it to be. Like, I love the fact, and I know I'm tangenting from a little bit. I love the fact that Luke mentioned that they want FOMO in this game. I mean, clearly Ikora is building a Vex gate, a Vex portal in the tower, which, mistake, by the way, but because we're going, we're probably the Undying Mind or whatever we're going to wind up to end this season. And then that's going to happen. and then it's over. It's gone. The tower's going to change and be something else. So unless you were playing the game at that time, you're going to miss out on that. So as they mature with this model that they're doing, we're going to wind up seeing potentially some epic things that happen in this game down the road in the seasons where, oh yeah, I took a break from Destiny that month. Well, dude, you missed out because you should have been there. I mean, look, dude, look what Fortnite just did. That's what they're trying to do right now. And again, I know I'm tangenting way off. I'm not bothered by a vendor refresh if they're working towards something like that. Do what you need to do to get me to that. I'm not worried about Devrim K's sniper that I'm going to look at once and go, I got better. And then I'm never going to use it again. So whatever. I'm fine with it.
That's perfect. Yeah. And actually, that's a perfect segue into, I know we had some community questions, and just real quick, we're going to wrap up the show soon, but I know we had one or two on Twitter. One of them specifically mentioned the RPG aspect because they know that you play a lot of other games that have the RPG aspects. And you mentioned Luke saying he wants Destiny, like, is going to embrace that side of it. So we'll pull up those community questions here. If y'all have any in chat, feel free to ask before we close down the show. But Hove, do you have those community questions ready?
Yeah. Looks like we just have one on Twitter and then a few in Discord. From Twitter, Botbuster. This one's for you, Parris, specifically. With your love of classic RPGs like the Witcher series and the upcoming release of Cyberpunk 2077, what other RPG elements would you like to see added to Destiny?
Ooh, that is a great question. I feel like I got put on the spot and I need to have a good answer. I mean, it's kind of where they're going with Armor 2.0 in the sense that I want the skill tree. I want the skills and the perk sets to expand even more, to be even bigger than what they are right now. So we're really starting to see these diversified builds, and no 1-2 builds are going to be the same unless you're just flat out copying someone because they found like a great thing. Like the Outer Worlds is about to come out, which is from Obsidian, is basically the spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas, right? I got to play the preview of that, and I got to see that skill tree that they're doing and all the different perks that you're going to do. It's like, I'll spend hours in that, just doing that. And I almost feel like with Destiny, I want it to where, all right, we're going to play the game like we do now. We're going to get to max power level. And then a whole nother mini game opens up where we're just tinkering. Every time I get a drop, every drop is valuable because it might have a perk or an attribute that I could potentially rip off of there and put on another build that I really like. Obviously, transmog, things like that are eventually going to get fleshed out more. We're going to see those kind of things. I'm talking armor specifically now, but I also want to see that come to weapons as well. Yeah. Like I would love to be able to see where we can pull different scopes and I don't know, different, awesome. just you know what I'm saying, like just different attributes of different weapons and basically craft them into a weapon that we may want to use. I feel that will be very hard to do in Destiny, especially with because of the way PvP works in here, where all the weapons are the same across the board, whether you're in PvE or PvP. And I guarantee you, if they introduce crafting into this and we can start making our own creations, you're gonna see some god roll tier, just game breaking stuff that would happen. So I don't think they're gonna be able to take it that far, but I would love to see them try it at least.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I definitely agree with you on that direction that they're heading with that and wanting to see it with weapons, because I'm starting to see it with weapons and armor. Just right now, you were talking about not having the tower like vendor refreshes and stuff, but all this new armor mod stuff is making old weapons feel new to me because I like put on a quick sling mod because I can easily change out mods. I'm like, oh, I can put this on mountaintop.
What was that?
So that way. Yeah, like that. You just switch it out, and and you can take it off, put it on mountaintop, or there's one that lets you, when you're out of ammo, so it only has one bullet, you use that one bullet, and then put a scout rifle like quick dexterity mod on your armor, and letting you like quickly switch to skyburners like as soon as you're out of mount, like just stuff like that I never got to experiment before because mods were one-time use. Now I can experiment, so it's making old weapons new. So I'm all for more like of those kind of modding elements with the weapons, what they're doing with armor. That would be amazing. I would love that.
I don't like to think that much, so as long as I don't have to think, I'm good.
Sure, they'll have that option too.
I know we're running pretty tight on time, so there's a couple here that are just quick answers. One of them wasn't designed to be a quick answer, but I'm going to change it to make it a quick answer. Bagu asks, what is everyone's favorite MCU movie? P.S. Loved listening to MCU Rewatch this past year.
Oh, well, thank you for that. We had a lot of fun doing MCU Rewatch, and it is technically not dead. It will be coming back. I will just say real quick, for me, it's Winter Soldier.
Yep, mine.
Yeah,
hands down.
Hands down.
I am the I gotta say Far From Home for a couple reasons. One, I'm a sucker for Spider-Man. I love everything Spider-Man. Also, Jake Gyllenhaal. Also, it's the last one I've seen, so it's fresh in my mind. But you guys know, Spider-Man the game, all the I love Spider-Man. I always have. Favorite superhero of all time. So I gotta go Spider-Man. Anon-Pig. He had a long question. I'm going to leave part of it out to make this. It's an interesting one, though.
Hey, I know him.
In honor of the first Fashion Week, you can magically make a full armor set to go with either an exotic weapon or exotic armor. What exotic would you choose? And then he went on to say, what features do you think it should have? But we don't have time for all that. So just basically an exotic and an entire armor set is going to be kind of styled around said exotic. Which one do you choose?
Helm of Saint 14.
That's pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
My first thought was the Crown of Tempests. I think that's what it's called, right? The Warlock one.
Yeah.
It's like a shiny Statue of Liberty looking thing.
Yeah. That would be crazy. Man, this is really tough.
So is this an armor piece that gets, and then you fills out the rest of it? Or can we pick a weapon and assume that the style from that would also be on
I'd assume a weapon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since it said exotic weapon or armor.
Okay, well, I was just waiting to get into the question I'm thinking about. So I would definitely go with, since it's anything, I would definitely do Hawkmoon in one.
I was thinking
it's so sleek. It's so sleek that I would think the armor would look really cool like that. That would be my pick.
I would, man.
Anon's example was Celestial Nighthawk, which would also be really cool.
That would be really cool too. I think I would go with the what's the Titan chest piece that's on fire in the inside? I can't remember the name of it.
I know where it's at.
Hallowed Fire, or Hallowed Fire, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, if you had a whole armor set that was just on fire from the inside out,
wasn't the ornament in D1? Wasn't there something that was all the Iron Banner armor was on fire?
Maybe so. Like that sounds familiar. But yeah, that would be incredible.
Hallow Fire Heart, is that right?
Yeah, that's
sounds right. That sounds right.
If it sounds right, it's gotta be right.
Yeah, sounds right.
Well, we'll go ahead and cut it off there for this week, I think. We appreciate you, Parris, first of all, coming on the show, hanging out with us. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time to come on a REZOcast. We really appreciate it, man.
No, thank you for having me. Again, this is a lot of fun. I like to talk Destiny. I mean, rest in peace to Guardian Radio. They used to have me come on every night.
Oh, yeah.
So I could talk, and Crucible Radio, RIP. I used to go in there and talk. So I like a place to talk Destiny. I don't get to talk it enough. When I talk it on my podcast, they're like, you talk too much Destiny. I'm like, but no, this is a lot of fun. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me in the clan. Some awesome, amazing people in that clan across Destiny and the Division. And it's been great, man. Really having a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, where can people find you at?
You can find me at gamertagradio.com. Again, if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we're literally everywhere. Your favorite RSS feed. I am on YouTube under my name, Parris. We're also on Twitch, twitch.tv/gamertagradio. And if you want to hear the ramblings of an angry old man, I am at Vicious696 on Twitter. I'm on there complaining about something all the time.
You should definitely do that. This has been Lego, aka Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
I do want to say we are going to have you back on again, because one of the things that we have discussed even internally, seeing some of your tweets, is our opinions on Google Stadia.
Oh my God, we did not talk about this. I could literally go on this for an hour.
I know, that's the problem. Like,
do we have 5 minutes? I have 5 minutes.
No, yeah, we
got
much
time as you want.
I have to get this out. So here's my thing with Stadia. I was 1,000% against it at first because I'm looking at it. I go, it's cloud gaming. You're telling me I'm supposed to spend 60 of my hard-earned dollars into this. It's not a subscription service. You got to spend real money to get a cloud game that this is the only platform you can ever play it on is streaming it over the internet. That's the only way you can play it. ISPs are unreliable. You don't know what the lag situation is going to be on it. All that blah, 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 blah. I go to Gamescom. I play Doom Eternal at the Stadia booth, and I was like, oh my God, this actually works. Right? And I was like, it works. But with the caveat of this, I did Project xCloud there as well, and that worked too. Xbox's model for doing this is a lot better than what Google is doing because Xbox is treating this as a supplement to the primary way you play games. Whereas Google is saying this is the primary way you play games. And and if we go away, all those games and money that you invested into, those games go away too. You don't have a physical console or something that could become legacy to where you could still play your games. You can't play them on PC. They go away if Stadia goes away. So to me, that's a huge red flag on that. Now, tying this into Destiny, and Bungie, Stadia tweeted at me today, which I thought was weird, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I didn't see
on
that.
your tweet. On your tweet about me coming on here,
oh, really?
Stadia responded to me. Like, wait, this is random. So I responded to Stadia's account, and I said, you know what really make me a happy camper? I want to see Destiny 2 playable on Stadia because we have still not seen that.
Right.
And we're a month away from Stadia coming out. Bungie hasn't done a demo of it. Google hasn't done a demo of it. And they're literally carrying Destiny 2 as their flagship game at launch, right? My biggest thing is this. If you want to prove to me that Stadia works and that I should invest my money into Stadia, and look, I know we brought up True Vanguard a million times. Go get True Vanguard and all the other kick-ass PvP players, put them around the world, have them group up their teams, and have them do PvP on Stadia and show it to me. Get Datto and his raid team, do the raid on Stadia. I want to see these in-game pinnacle activities where lag will kill anything that you potentially could do, and I want to see it on Stadia to prove to me that it works. Not to mention, since I'm on a roll, I'll keep it going. Not to mention, I also want to know what is the player population for Destiny 2 going to be on Stadia, because it's not like it integrates with the PC crowd, right? Even though technically it's the PC version of the game. So you're telling me, let's be optimistic, and let's say that there is 30,000 people playing Destiny 2 on Stadia at launch at any one given time. Is that really enough for proper matchmaking in PvP, your first strikes, all that gambit? Is the population big enough for me to properly matchmake into other activities into Destiny 2? Not to mention me making sure I actually have friends on there to want to go do a 6-man raid. Is that going to be able to happen at the launch of Stadia? Look, I'm pretty sure that Google backed up the Brinks truck to Bungie to do this, because if I'm Bungie and I'm independent, I'm taking whatever they're going to give me too. But I'm just not confident that there's going to be enough people day one that believe in this cloud streaming technology to invest into it, that I'm going to have enough people on there to play. That's my whole rant in a nutshell. So reaction to that.
And
there's so much.
I think the biggest thing, because I agree with all that about Destiny. It's funny because I think Lego, you and I talked about this originally, because you kind of had the same worries about it. That's looking at it from just that part with Destiny, like looking at it as a Destiny player, which I do think makes it an odd game for them to really push such a community-based game. You put that at the forefront of a brand new way of gaming that people are going to be skeptical about, and you push a really community-based game is odd to me. But looking at it just as a gaming platform in general, like I think the potential's really, really cool, especially once they presumably open it up to not just Chrome and Pixel phones. Like if it's just any internet connected device in a couple years, like that's big. And buying the game is one thing, but the one thing that I don't think they're advertising well enough, and obviously because they want to make money, there is, if you don't want to, other than purchasing the game, there is no cost that you need to have to play Stadia, right? Like,
well, in 3 months after
once,
release.
well, yeah, once it
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
comes out. Like, this
Yeah.
is just all pre-orders right now. But
Yeah.
once
Yeah,
it's fully
exactly.
out, I mean, there's a free tier that you just, because it's still what, 1080 60, 1080p 60?
It'll be 1080p 60.
Yeah. So
Which Destiny is also free.
right. So Destiny's free, 1080p 60's free. You can use a controller and just play on Chrome on your computer. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of hurdles and things that could go wrong. Like I said, pushing a community-based multiplayer game on a new system is a little interesting to me.
It's aggressive.
Right.
Like I could see if Cyberpunk 20, since it's going to be on Stadia, if Cyberpunk 2077 was the flagship launch game for Stadia, because even if there's lag in that, you'll be okay in most situations in that, because it's a single player experience. But you're pushing one of the pinnacle co-op and multiplayer experiences
That's what's weird.
at launch on an unproven global cloud streaming platform. I cannot wrap my head around that at all.
Well,
and like I said, and I'll say this just for clarification again, when I played it at Gamescom, it made me realize, oh my God, if your internet, if your bandwidth is right, this can work. Like at my house, Google server's right up the street. My ping, I already did my ping. My pings are super low where Google is. It'll work. It will absolutely work for me here in my house. I have a high upload cap. I'm fine. But I'm thinking of the majority of people that don't necessarily have that, especially in the United States, where, let's just be frank, our internet sucks here, compared to Europe and other places in the world. So I'm just not convinced that this is going to work the way that they're advertising it through the marketing. I think people are going to have a lot of lag issues. Like, I've tried PlayStation Now and it kind of sort of works. And I think that's what's going to happen with Stadia, where it kind of sort of works, but not 100%. Whereas again, on the flip side, with the way Xbox is doing it, okay, if it kind of sort of works, that's okay, because I'm just using it as a supplement. All right, I got a train ride or something, or I'm in the backseat of the car. I just open my phone and I want to go run to the tower real quick and go get something. I'll be able to do that. Not to mention, Xbox is basically saying I can make my Xbox here at home my own private xCloud. I mean, so they're giving me these options and flexibility to where I think there'll be more adoption to it. Where, dude, I'm just as much as I want it to work, because I think down the road it will be the future, and I think this is where everything's going. I just don't think in the short term it's going to work. And Google gives me zero confidence that they're going to stick it out for the long term. I'll believe it when I see it.
I've heard that a lot, and my one response to that, because Google's well known for, throwing out these projects and then just abandoning them, right? But from everything that I've seen, like, a lot of those start, and I forget what they call it, but they have a thing where people can just
labs or something.
Yeah, where they have like an hour out of their day or something that they can work on these projects, and that's where a lot of these weird things have come from. But this, I mean, they hired people from all over the gaming industry over the last 3 or 4 years that have been spending a ton of money and bringing in, it's not just them, they've brought in people from other companies, and it seems like they're serious about it. You didn't see that with a lot of this other stuff.
And all joking aside, I do think they are. I do think they are trying to be the fourth player in this market, and they're trying to future-proof with the tech and obviously the data centers, everything they're doing. I think in certain scenarios, Stadia will absolutely work. You got to show me the PvP. That's my biggest argument with right now. Just show me, prove to me that it works. Put someone in LA, put someone in London, have them play a PvP match, and show me that works. If they can pull that off, okay, I'll give it more hope. But I just don't think enough people, especially in this 3-month period where it's only pre-orders, I just think the population is going to be tiny, especially in a game like Destiny. And if you're asking someone that's not a hardcore Destiny person, that's her first experience in Destiny is on Stadia, and they're only playing with, like I said, maybe 5,000 other people at any given time, it's gonna suck. It just is.
Well, you made me think of something that I've thought about the population for, but not in this context, I think. But low population in Destiny is a huge, like, when there's low times in PvP, it's like, oh, this is the worst connection, these games are laggy. For Stadia, that's not going to be the case for a low population, because all of their servers are in the same location, or at least very well connected to each other. And so as long as you have a good connection to Stadia, then the games themselves should not be laggy, and it could even be a better PvP experience than what we have with these random players we're connected with.
I'll only say this: show me. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
You, man. Yeah. So it's such an interesting thing that they haven't. You're like, what?
Even though, like you said, I could talk about, because I'm excited about the potential, like I said.
Yeah.
But to end this, final question. I think I know the answer. Did you pre-order the Founders Edition? Parris, are you getting Stadia right off the bat?
No. I thought about it and I was like, no, I want to see this in action first. Now, look, I will be completely transparent on this. If Google gives it to me for a review, I will review it. I will talk about it. I will put it through its paces. But if you're asking me to invest my money into it, I'm not doing that at launch. Right. I got to see it first. That's all I'm saying. And to be honest, I think that's the going to be the approach of a lot of people that are curious about this. They want to see it. And that's why I keep saying this. If you were to leading up to launch, like show us, get real people playing it and showing me that this works, I might be more inclined to want to invest into it. But if you're going to do what you're currently doing and just do these fancy little trailer videos and stage presentations and things like that, but nothing that's real world, dude, look, I've been around the block a few times. I will wait it out just to see. I'm not jumping in. I will not be your guinea pig for this. Show me that it works.
They have said, and this may just be marketing, this may even be because sales are bad, but they've announced that it's sold out in the UK. And they're introducing a new version for people that still want to buy it.
That's because the sales are bad. That's what that is. That's what I think that is.
Well, yeah. Hove, I know that they can find you on Stadia next month, but where else can they find you?
Everywhere is Hove76. Twitter, Twitch, not really YouTube. It's there, but don't go there. Thursday nights at 9 right here, Hove76 on Twitch and Twitter anytime, talking all the nonsense. Triton?
Well, first of all, I think you guys should be very proud that we went into a conversation about an emerging thing for a company like Google, and we were talking about sample size, didn't delve into like where that would be for like a confidence level or confidence interval and how that would cross references. Parris brought up.
I know where you're going, but you ruined it.
So now. We're not going. I'm just saying that could have easily been a long conversation that you guys don't like when I do it, but I didn't. But if you do want to hear about those things, then you could just, tweet me at Triton Please on Twitter, all one word, the please being PLZ.
Well, yes, we would. I'm actually curious to talk to Triton about that later. But if you want to talk, to REZOcast, you can find us at REZOcast on Twitter. You can find more about Team Resolute at Team Resolute on Twitter. And if you liked what you've been hearing, the hosts have been using Blue microphones and headphones, which we thank you for their sponsorship. And I think that's it for this week. Parris, thank you again. It's a great episode. We really appreciate your thoughts on Destiny. And until next time, everyone. GG.
GG.